phone's GPS, satellite internet, weather forecasts, and even financial timing systems all depend on satellites working properly. This month in 2026, several changes are happening in orbit that directly affect how reliable those systems are, and most people really have no idea about this. So when analysts talk about a 1.8 trillion global space economy, that estimate is commonly cited by organizations like the World Economic Forum and Deloitte. What matters here is that most of this value comes from satellites operating continuously, quietly supporting systems that we're using every day. And so according to a January 2026 Space Traffic Management Market Report, which was distributed via Global Newswire, systems that track satellites and assess collision risk are expanding as orbit becomes more crowded. Now, what this is telling us is that orbital safety is more a priority than ever. Now, on the positive side of this, there's much better visibility in orbit than there used to be, and operators can make more informed decisions. Now, at the same time, safety increasingly comes with a price tag, and that introduces questions about cost, access, and who gets the best information. So we have progress being made, but we're also shifting in how space operations are structured. Now, in another January 2026 article this month by SatNews reported growing discussion around moving space safety data toward paid or user pays models. Now, on one side of this creates more sustainable funding, possibly, and incentives to improve data quality. Now, if we look at it on the flip side, it can raise concerns about who can afford that access, whether smaller operators are placed now at a disadvantage. And so, yeah, we have this technical change happening, but this is a shift in how space situational awareness is financed and governed. Now, in another January 2026 report through Reuters reported that SpaceX is lowering the operating altitude of many Starlink satellites. They're moving the satellites from around 550 kilometers to about 480 kilometers. Now, according to SpaceX's Vice President of Starlink Engineering, Michael Nichols, this is intended to reduce collision risk and improve space safety. Lower orbits mean satellites don't linger as the debris for as long, I should say. And it's a clear safety benefit, but that means shorter satellite lifetimes and more frequent replacement now. So that could increase operational complexity. So this is a strong example of how congestion and how this congestion is already influencing real engineering and business decisions. So if we look at these three developments and we put them all together, we see a pattern here. Safety capabilities are improving, but cost and complexity are increasing. So operators are starting to adapt, and they're not necessarily waiting for future regulation, which again, some may argue is a good thing. And space situational awareness becomes more critical infrastructure and an economic differentiator. Now, all of this is affecting how reliable satellite-based services remain for the rest of us in the world. So I want to leave you with a question. Now, as satellite safety improves, but on the flip side, it's becoming more expensive, do you think that those trade-offs are worth it? Or does this risk is this risking making space less accessible over time? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for tuning in.